Going to talk about smoking. And just to work on some vocabulary first, I have an article for us to look at. And we're going to do that for maybe the first 20-25 minutes. And then I have discussion questions for us. And we're going to talk about the side effects of smoking, but also what it's like in your country. Because I'm from America, and it's a very anti-smoking country, and we'll take a look at the differences between that. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. So I'll just post the link in Verbling chat so you guys can follow along. All right. 1 second. So welcome to class, guys. And I'm going to post the link in our class chat now. All right, and it looks like we have 22 viewers, and we only have 3 students. So if more people want to join class, that'd be great. And this article is just going to give us maybe some of the vocabulary we need to start discussion. All right, so that way, if you don't know any words, you can look them up, and we'll talk about them. So let me know if you have any problems getting to this article. Any problems? All right, so would anyone like to start reading for us at all?
Okay, I can.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Okay, natural news. A massive new study about smoking from the University of Oxford in the UK has reported breathtaking results. Doctors and researchers found the nasty effects associated with cigarettes years ago, but this study focused on the harms of smoking as well as the benefits of quitting. Putting aside the knowledge society has about cigarettes already, the findings of this study could serve as yet another motivation for smokers to quit.
Just continue for us.
Okay.
Okay. One of the largest studies ever done on the subject, Sir Richard Peto, a professor at the University of Oxford, and his colleagues recruited 1.3 million women between 1996 and 2001, all of whom were born around the 1940s and had been smoking regularly throughout their lives. The participants were all between the ages of 50 and 65, and they each filled out questionnaires about their lifestyles, medical status, and sociodemographic factors. The researchers did follow-ups and resurveyed the participants 3 and 8 years later.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And so would anyone else like to continue the next couple of paragraphs?
Okay.
We can see what happens with this study.
Can I?
Yes, you may. Hector?
Hector, okay. At the beginning of the study, 20% of the women were smokers, while 28% had quit and 52% never smoked. 66,000 of the participants had passed away by 2011. The study showed that the smoker who continued 3 years into the study were 3 times more likely to pass away in comparison to non-smoker and women that had quite before middle age. According to the researchers, this means that 2/3 of the deaths of female smokers in their 50s, 60s, and 70s are related to smoking.
And just continue the 2 small paragraphs right here for us, that'd be great.
The researchers also noted that while the death risk in a smoker is elevated by the amount of smoke by a smoker, 1 to 9 cigarettes per day, were still twice as likely to pass away as no smoker.
Good. And would anyone else like to finish the article for us? And then we'll talk about it.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to discussion.
Me. Can I?
All right. So the first person that I heard can read this paragraph.
Okay, I will read.
And the second person can finish the last paragraph and last sentence.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
It was also found that women who quit before 40 dropped their risk of premature death by 90%, and women who quit before 30 dropped their risk by 97%. Even women who quit at about 50 years old avoid at least 2/3 of ongoing smokers' excess mortality. P2 says that the bottom line is that quitting smoking before middle age will add an average of 10 years of life back.
And our second person to finish the article.
Cigarette. Okay, thank you, teacher. Cigarette smoking account for about 443,000 deaths each year in the U.S. In fact, tobacco use kills more people than HIV. Illegal drugs use, alcohol, vehicle injuries, suicide, and murder combined. Smoking increases the risk of coronary heart disease and stroke by 2 to 4 times, and increase the risk of death by chronic obstructive lung disease, like chronic bronchitis and emphysema, by 12 to 13 times. So, what is the main point of the research study? It's never too late to stop it out, ladies. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Good job, guys. Okay, so this study is focused on what gender? So what gender are they focusing on for this study?
Females.
Yeah.
Females, women, yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking at women, but it can apply to everyone because, as they mention in the last large paragraph, in fact, tobacco use kills more people. So this is a general statement. It kills more people than what? What diseases and drugs did they list for us in comparison to cigarettes and tobacco products?
Heart disease,
Yeah, heart disease.
coronary heart disease, and obstructive heart disease.
Okay. Yeah, so that's like cholesterol buildup in your arteries, so fat buildup. They also mention HIV. Does everyone know what that is? HIV and AIDS. It has similar.
Yes.
It's the disease before you have SIDA. You get SIDA.
Yeah. So in a lot of countries, it's SIDA. For us, it's AIDS. So it's reversed. So yeah, HIV is the first step of AIDS. Illegal drug use. So they're talking about heroin, cocaine, meth. So drugs like that. Suicide? What's suicide? Suicide.
To kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
People don't like herself either.
Murders and car accidents. They say vehicle injuries, and by that they mean car accidents. So I know right now I do not live in the U.S. I live in one of the countries that almost everyone smokes, Okay, so I live in France, and I've noticed, I teach in a high school, my 13 and 14-year-old kids are smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. And so I wanted us to take a look at this because we know the effects.
Your children smoke, your students smoke, teacher? In your
Yeah.
school?
So in France, it's very much of the culture here to smoke. It's very ingrained in their culture. And so I wanted to see what it was like in the rest of the world. So we'll have some comparisons. All right, and so before we continue with discussion, more personal questions to answer, to practice speaking, we'll just look at a few aspects of the article. Okay, so what was the main point of this article? So what is the main point of this article? Why did they write it, this person? What is it telling us?
The
To encourage
complication
people
of the
to stop
smoking.
Ooh, sorry. So I couldn't hear both people at once. So Madhu, I saw your icon. So can you go first? And the second person, was it
Hadi.
Hadi? Yep. Can you go
Okay,
second? All right.
they are advising people and telling them to stop, to quit smoking. They're encouraging them to stop because they are telling them how dangerous it is and telling them examples of diseases they can die with.
And what did you want to say, Hadi?
What I wanted to say is here the writer show us the complication of smoking, and we should stop smoking to avoid these complications.
And what do they mention
I want to say something,
specifically?
teacher.
And he's mentioned specifically about the heart disease.
So what do they mention that we gain if we stop smoking before middle age? They mention that. Yep.
We will, for women who is about 40 years, they will drop their risk of death by 90%.
So for women who stop smoking before middle age, and middle age for us in the U.S. is between 40 and maybe 35 and 50. That's what we consider, middle-aged. For middle age, will gain 10 years to their life, at least. And as you mentioned, 90% will reduce their risk of death. 90% will reduce their risk of death. And you'll also be healthier. So that's what they're telling us. You'll be healthier in the end. Healthier in the end. Okay. All right. And so does anyone have any questions about the article? So any phrases or any sentences that you would like clarified, or just a question about the subject of the article? Okay. All right. So I thought it was interesting that in the U.S., this really large number, it's 443,000 people die each year. Die each year in the U.S. From complications from smoking. Okay, so something along those lines, and that's 500,000 people. And for us in America, we're very much anti-tobacco culture. So it is illegal to advertise cigarettes on the radio, on billboards, on television. So the images you may have seen from the U.S. About the popular ones were cowboys on their horses with a cigarette in hand, or sexy women, on the side of the street smoking a cigarette with a man looking at her. Those images are from the past. We can no longer use them to sell cigarettes. And so my question for you guys is it illegal? Is it legal to advertise cigarettes like Camel, Marlboro? That's all I know because I don't smoke in your country.
I can say something?
Yeah.
And in my country, this is a colony from your country, United States. This is the Dominican Republic, my country. Who also are very familiar with Americans. And here it's legal to advertise cigarettes. But equal happen in the United States. There are movements of the people don't like cigarettes, and now it's allowed to the advertisement, the company put a warning in his boxes, in his advertising TV. They have to put by law the cigarette is dangerous for your health. They are obligated by the law to say at the end of the advertisement in TV or the radio, if you are smoking cigarette, it's dangerous for your health, because you have to prevent the people for if you use cigarette, you are conscious you are damage your body, and it's like happen in your country. In my country, there are no. It's not. It's, in the past, it was a good social way to socialize to smoking. But right now, there are many places the people they can't smoke. For example, in the public space,
Yeah.
the people
So we'll
they
get
can't
to that.
smoke.
Don't answer that question yet. We will get to that.
Okay.
So where are you from, Erickson?
I am from Dominican Republic, the land from sun and sands.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's going to be another question we talk about. So
Okay, sorry,
yeah.
teacher.
No, you brought up a great point. So for us in the United States, it's illegal to advertise, but for Eric in the Dominican Republic, you can advertise tobacco products, but you have to have a warning. What about in any of your countries? What happens there?
Can I?
Yep.
In Spain isn't illegal, but here last year we have a change. The tax laws changed it. Nowadays you cannot smoke in a public area, and after 1 year of that, the mortality of ischemic heart disease is diminished in 12% for them. In relationship, because you cannot smoke, and the other people who are not smoking is not obliged to breathe your home.
Breathe.
And that is interesting because it's a simple measure for public health with the biggest results, and that is important.
Yeah, and so we are definitely going to take a look at what we call secondhand smoke, and that is talking about the restrictions of smoking in public places, like restaurants and parks, and crowded places. So bars, restaurant venues, concert venues, beaches that are crowded. And so secondhand smoke and the effects. But what I want to talk about right now is advertising. So do you see any advertisements in your country? Do you see billboards? Do you hear radio emissions? Do you see commercials advertising cigarettes or chewing tobacco? That's my question for you guys. We have commercials for alcohol in the U.S., but not for tobacco.
The most, can I say?
Yeah.
The most selling products of cigarettes here is produced by the government.
Where are you from, Mina?
The government, I'm from Egypt.
Okay.
So the government is, the first, and then there's other companies came second. But the government is produced, some cheap products, so it can suit with average people, middle class.
All right, so for you, the government is enforcing it. On your, I don't know, on your packets of cigarettes, all my friends here smoke, and in France, it says "smoking kills" in big letters. Okay, so are there any warnings for you on your package of cigarettes? Eric mentioned on the commercials, on the advertisements, it tells you negative side effects. Are there any other warnings to the public on the object or in the advertising?
Yes.
Yeah?
To make people stop smoking and to quit, but you know, they still smoke. So finally they came to an idea to put pictures of people with diseases because of smoking on the package itself. But you know,
where are you from?
whenever you buy a bag of cigarettes from Egypt.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
So whenever you buy a bag of cigarettes now, okay, they sell you like something like a sticker. You can put it, you know, you can stick it on the back to hide the picture of the of the diseased man. So whenever they make a solution, you'll get a way to avoid it, actually, because who smokes, he doesn't think that smoking is dangerous, and he will keep on smoking.
Yeah, that's exactly true. My friends are out there watching. I'm sorry, I'm going to mention you. So I have a few friends here, and they smoke every day, and they smoke a lot. And it's okay, it's part of the culture. But for me, I do not smoke. And so I'm exposed to a lot of secondhand smoke, and it makes me very sleepy, I've noticed, you know. And I have asthma, so that gets worse. But the things they've mentioned are, oh, I've tried quitting smoking, and I have quit, and I felt better, because when you smoke a lot, you kind of have a bronchitis problem, a bronchial problem. You cough a lot, there's phlegm, they're out of breath a lot, and their teeth, they have problems with their teeth from tobacco buildup. So they always mention they feel better when they stop smoking, but they don't stop. So is anyone here a smoker?
Yes,
sorry to ask, and wants to share.
Camera. You see it? Islam's camera. He shows a pack of cigarettes and a picture of a man with his tongue, and it says in Arabic that smoking causes tongue cancer.
Oh wow!
You see?
That's really gruesome.
Yeah.
All right. And so they give you a sticker too that you can use to cover. Okay. Yeah. For us, it's just pictures like that are kept in the doctor's office, luckily. All right.
I have a comment.
Yes? Cool.
For us here, the Ministry of Health have nowadays built new centers for tell the people about the complication with smoking, and nowadays there's a drug for stop or help the smoker to stop smoking or quit smoking, and that's free from the government for the smoker. But unfortunately, smoker don't like to stop smoking here. So.
And where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
And about the advertising, previously, it's legal to make advertisement for the smoking without show the side and effect and complication of smoking. But about 3 to 4 years ago, the government pushed the companies to put an commercial that show the complication of smoking in each packet of the smoke.
All right. And would anyone else like to comment on the advertising aspects at all?
Laura, may I ask you something?
Yes.
You said you are in France and you are subject to the secondhand smoking that your friends and other people smoke. In France, is it permitted to smoke in closed areas, public areas?
Yes. So you can smoke in restaurants. You can smoke in public areas. It's actually in the U.S. It's very people will stare at you. You know, we call it the skunk eye. They'll look at you like you're a jerk if you're smoking near them. And here it's the opposite. So I get looked at strangely when I'm not smoking, and it's very common for people to ask me on the street for a light or for a cigarette. People always say here, like, oh, do you just have a cigarette for me? And I'm like, oh, no, sorry, I don't smoke. And the reaction is always like, yeah, right. So here it's permitted to smoke almost everywhere. It's pretty uncommon to find places where you can't smoke. Even the trains, they say no smoking, but people still smoke on them.
In the train? Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil, it's not permitted to smoke in closed areas like restaurants, bars, trains, public transportation. But you can smoke on the street, you can smoke on parks. These places you can.
Here
so,
in my country, happen the same things. It's you're not allowed to smoke in public place, and it's like supermarkets, like restaurants. The restaurant have to have to separate space for people like smoke and people don't like smoke. And but people, it happened the same in Brazil. Has happened here. The people who smoke in the street, is in the park. They smoking in general place. They like to smoke because when the people, the other people, they are not allowed. For example, if you are in a school, you are or university, you are not allowed to smoke. You need to smoke in separate part of that place. You say that?
And I think Koji had a response.
Yeah, we used to have separate places here for smoker and non-smokers on restaurants and bars, but it doesn't work because the smoke go everywhere. So they prohibited every closed place. So no one can smoke in closed places. No more spaces for smokers.
And that's how it is in the U.S. There's no smoking in public places, on public transportation. If you want to smoke, you have to go outside, and there's designated smoking areas, and they're pretty isolated because, and even in our parks and stuff, you'll see no smoking, and a lot of times they give the reason, you know, forest fires or the trash, because a lot of times people will just leave their cigarette butts on the ground. Sorry, I was just reading a comment. So a lot of times smoking is even prohibited outside in my own country. What about in some other students we have here? Anke, where are you from? And is it allowed? Are you allowed to smoke? He does, but I think it's muted, so I'm trying to give him advice while we go through class.
Hello, anyone hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, finally, yeah. Okay, I'm from Egypt, and here in Egypt, we can smoke everywhere. In bus, taxi, street, everywhere it's free for smoking.
Sorry, can you repeat?
I say I'm here from Egypt, and we can smoke there in everywhere, like buses and street and metro, everywhere.
You can smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not legal, but people don't care about that. They smoking anywhere.
And so in Egypt, is there an anti-smoking movement? Are there people that want to prohibit smoking to certain areas? Or does the general population smoke and want it to stay the same? Do you know? I don't know. Or anyone else
Oh
from
no.
Egypt?
We are more busy about politics nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Understandable. Very understandable.
We are busy in political about 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
so
I
maybe
have a
the
comment.
anti-smoking is taking a backseat to other movements in the country at the moment. Yes, Hadi?
Yes. Previously, there's people who lived in Saudi Arabia can smoke everywhere, but about 5 years ago, the government make a rules to no smoking anymore in public spaces, and nowadays who try to cross the rules, he will get a punishment for that.
Okay. And what kind of punishment is inflicted?
It's depend on the place. Some of the punishment who cross the rule, he should pay about 200 reals. It's about $50.
It's about how much?
$50.
Okay, $50. Okay. I'm not sure what the fine is for us in the United States, but it's probably somewhere along the same prices, you know.
But I have questions
Mhm.
about the United States. Actually,
Mhm.
the smoking come from United States, and now you told me uh, there are no s- a smoker in United States as compared in France.
So yeah, the history of our country, it's because we're still one of the leading tobacco producers, but we export it. So a lot of times smoking in our country is related with lower classes, so people who are lower in society. Um, and so for me and most of my friends at the university and all my friends from high school, none of us smoke, and the only kids that did smoke were considered the troubled kids, you know. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about marijuana here, just like cigarettes. So they're sneaking out the back door and with their pack of Marlboros and going to the football fields.
Yes, I remember one issue about my country. In two city of my country, there's the smoking is not allowed. It's like an alcohol and drug. It's not allowed to smoke in particular city.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's crazy that one city is just like completely it's completely prohibited.
Yes.
Yeah. For us it's just certain places, and there's like we call it a stigma. So if anyone else wants to talk about that stigma, for us, if you're smoking, um, you're usually in the US someone who is lower class. Here in France, it doesn't matter. Everyone smokes. But in the US, it's different. And it's ironic because cigarettes are so expensive.
Here in my country, doesn't matter if you smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Here
Yes?
in Nepal, it doesn't matter if you're smoking. Since, everyone for any class can smoke. Just, there is a stigma here for smoking.
Anyone else? So, in any of your countries, is there a cultural stigma
Yes.
concerning smoking? Yes?
Yes. Actually, the smoking here is more common up among males. Once a female start to smoke, it's like strange, and it's a shame for female to smoke. And the second stigma is the smoking is around low class people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's the same, minus the female part for us. That's actually very interesting. For us, it's if we see a female smoking and she has children, then it's considered, awful. She's an awful mother. How could she do that to her children? Because
Yes.
there are side effects to secondhand smoking. Okay. So Eric Erickson types that there is no stigma in his country, that everyone smokes. So similar to France. What about in Spain, Josefa Maria? What is it like in Spain? A mark of disgrace.
Yeah. Oh, in Spain it's not illegal, as you know, and here nowadays by the crisis is a diminished costume, and it's not a signal or a stigma, because Mina wrote that the tobacco is like a stigma of a bad girl. I know that is true in Le Cajera, in Egypt, but not here nowadays. But before, 20 or 30 years ago, yes, people didn't see good women are smoking.
Okay, great. And any other comments at all?
Yeah. Here the stigma is when a woman smoke. It's be not good looking.
Okay, so it's not considered sexy or attractive if a woman is smoking?
No.
Okay.
Not all time. Yani sometimes look like that, but
In my country, it was sexy in the past, but right now it's not sexy.
Okay. All right.
yeah,
So it looks
here
like
it's
the
not sexy because we are like a we have a Western culture, so it's not like in USA.
Okay. All right, so it looks like the trend, is that maybe people are still smoking, but it's not considered as attractive as it used to be. And sounds like women, it's starting with women. And maybe that trend will move to men as well, So how many people are smokers or were smokers in the past in class? That's okay to ask. So is there anyone right now? I think it was Islam who pointed out cigarettes, so maybe you're a smoker.
Smoker still now, not in the past only.
Definitely, he is a smoker. Definitely, is the proper pronunciation? Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what I want to talk about is pricing. So I want to compare how expensive cigarettes are. So in the U.S., my parents are from Connecticut, and taxes are very, very high in that state. So a pack of cigarettes is, at least $10. But then in Delaware, where I'm from, a pack of cigarettes, I live there now. Well, I lived there, and I will move there again after my year in France. A pack of cigarettes is between $5 and $6 usually for the same pack. And then in France, they're about €7. And this is all from Marlboros, because I always know people who smoke Marlboros for some reason.
In my country, it's more cheap than it's less than $1 for one packet.
Really?
Yes, I smoke a packet of Marlboro, less than $1.
Less than $1.
Yes.
So in
some case, yes, American. In some case, for more expensive landmark, that costs at least $3.
Okay.
$3.
Yeah,
$3 American is the equivalent. $3 cost for packets, a premium packet for landmark.
And what about Islam? I think you were trying to say something as well.
Yeah. Here is more cheaper. Here the local one. It's about $0.50 or 5 LE. And the best cigarette here, like Marlboro and LM and something, the famous cigarette, it's like $1 or. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I get a comment.
But not the quality like there.
No, sorry. Okay, so Mina Murad.
Yeah. I agree with Islam, but I think that it's for us it's 7 pounds with local unit. So it's for us it's a 7 units, 7 pounds. So I can measure it with $half because I don't take my salary with dollars, with bucks, you know.
Let
So
me
for me it's
check. I'll convert it. Okay, so converter. And what did you say your currency was?
Egyptian pound.
Egyptian pound.
Yeah, if you bought a cellular for a $100, so for me it's $700. The same cellular you buy for 100, I buy it for 700. So it's not like got my point? So for me the cigarette pack is 7 pounds, not $1/2, because my salary is with Egyptian pound. So it's too much for me, not a £1/2 or something.
Okay, and so I did the conversion to stay within one currency. So the €7 should have been, that's about like $9. So in France, a pack of Marlboros is $9. In Dominican Republic, $1, $2. And then I just converted what you said, which it comes to $1.03, $1.04. So keeping it within the same currency.
Yeah, here in Brazil, I'm researching on the internet, and it's about $2.50 a package of Marlboro.
And you said you're from Brazil, right?
Yeah.
And so my question is, since it's so cheap, and I know the salaries are different, as Mina Morad mentioned, but does your country produce a lot of tobacco, or is your country importing it from other countries and it's just cheap because of the salary difference? What do you think? So is it cheap because your salaries are lower than salaries in the US or salaries in Europe? Or is it because your country produces a lot of tobacco? Or is it because cigarettes are in demand, you know? So a lot of cigarettes are bought, so the price is cheaper.
Yes, that is. We are a producer of cigarettes for exports for all the country. My country is very good at this manufacturing expensive cigarettes, like puros, like cigarettes more stronger. I don't remember exactly the name in English. The habanos. We produce habanos, and habano with some flavor too. They are so expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a smoker, so I don't know. What about anyone else? What do you think? We haven't heard from Castier Anderson.
Yes, I am.
So where are you from?
I'm from Dominican Republic.
You are? Okay.
Yes. It's a great conversation. I think
Me too.
that you too. It's okay. I think that it's a great conversation because a lot of people here they like to smoke. Yes. But if some people here like to smoke, sometimes out. I saw some people smoke in the book. And on one day I saw because I am in university. I had a friend that he smoked in the university, but I don't like that because some people don't like that, you know. I think so.
We haven't heard from Hector in a while. So where are you from, Hector? And are cigarettes expensive in your country?
I was in Venezuela, but I'm living in Netherlands right now. In Netherlands, the Marlboro package costs 50, almost €6.
Okay, almost 60.
It's very expensive.
Okay. And where did you say you are originally from?
In Amsterdam.
You live in Amsterdam?
Yes.
Okay. I thought your first language was Spanish for some reason. You sound Spanish. Yeah,
Yes,
it is.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But I've lived in Spain for 11 years before I live in Netherlands.
Netherlands, okay. Well, you're lucky. The Dutch speak great English, so you'll be speaking very, very fluently soon. I don't know, that one country, you know, they just kick ass at everything. The Dutch are very advanced, I feel like, when it comes to, you know, just how they run their country and their people. They're very fluent, and most people that are Dutch speak like 5 languages. It's crazy. Perfectly, too.
It's
Perfectly.
true. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. And they're beautiful, so I don't understand. Man, I should have been Dutch. All right.
You see my screen, teacher? You see
Yes.
the products of my country are good for productor. Yes, here
right,
we make a lot of habanos
Okay.
for protection. Manufacturer.
Oh, cigars.
Cigar, okay, thank you, teacher, cigar.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so yeah, we can talk about cigars. Cigarettes, I feel like, are very common to smoke on an everyday basis, and cigars are more of a treat. So, like, all my friends that smoke, cigars are, like, more rare to smoke on an everyday basis, maybe once a week. What about in your countries? Is it more common to smoke cigarettes or cigars? Cigarettes
No.
or cigars? Or do more people roll their own cigarettes, which is making your own cigarette with paper and a filter? Any ideas?
Because this cigar is too hard on.
Yeah, so you can say cigars are too harsh. Harsh. Okay.
Cigarettes only for good looking and like businessman and something like that.
Okay, only for good-looking businessmen. Are they more expensive usually?
Yeah, more. It's not make a good hit like the normal cigarette.
Okay. All right, so cigarettes are more expensive. I also have that image of seeing the businessman, like, you know, on top of the skyscraper in New York City after closing a big deal, puffing on a cigar, you know?
Yeah, like we see on the move.
Like we see where?
In the movies and
Yeah, in the movies, exactly, yeah. All right. So I guess we'll leave it open to questions. It's the last 8 minutes of class, unless anyone else wants to respond to the last question I threw out there into discussion. Okay.
Teacher, you can put your teacher page, your Facebook teacher page.
So it should be www.facebook.com/Laura on Verbling.
By any chance you will write down? By any chance you will be write down, please?
Yep, I just posted it in Verbling chat.
Okay.
And I
Let me
think
see.
it should be posted to my profile. 1 second. I'm sorry. Someone's at my door. Oui, c'est mieux, c'est mieux.
Hello guys.
Oui, j'ai c'est juste à 5 minutes. Après, je prends une douche.
Oh.
Et il y a quelque chose ce soir? Ok, envoyez un texte ou Facebook. Ok. Sorry, my landlord. Okay. Sorry. I actually didn't think I would be in class because they were working on my bathroom today for 4 hours. So, yeah. All right.
What you ate, teacher? What you ate, teacher?
What do I hate?
What you ate?
Eat.
Yes.
A-T-E.
What do I eat? Food, usually.
Food.
That's a little personal. So any other questions? And I'm just going to verify my Facebook page.
I'm only kidding, teacher. Don't be sad.
Okay. I did post the right link. Cool. All right.
Yes,
so you guys
teacher.
can follow me there.
Do you smoke?
I do not smoke.
No. Okay.
No. So yeah. And that's mainly because none of my friends smoke, in the U.S. So I never started. And then also I have asthma, so it's not the best combination. So yeah.
Right.
So does anyone else